So what the Holy Ghost does is that if he tunes you to heaven's frequency, he kills the frequency of hell. There are women at the background working. There is a flavor women bring into systems. That's why God, after God created the world, created the man, he said, I'll make a helper for him. Because that ability to balance systems and civilization, a very large extent of that wisdom is resident with women. And so women have to rise up to become presidents, to become leaders, heads of institutions and organizations, support systems at every strata of human civilization. But that will not happen except as they mature from girls to ladies. There has to be something in your mind. There has to be some level of creativity, wisdom, discretion in you. You cannot be without that level of creativity and productivity. So it's either you have the intelligence to work in an academic environment, or you have creativity to start a business, or you have creativity to advise and manage institutions at leadership level. But by all means, there must be something in your head. That's the second level of maturity for a woman. And then there is the third level where you become a wife. At the level of a wife, you come under the ordinances of God. You must learn the ways of God. You must understand the mind of God. You must bring yourself to live according to the dictates of God. That means you no longer live based on how you feel. At the level of a girl, you live based on your feelings. You dress based on your feelings. You talk based on your feelings. But when you mature to become a wife, the laws of God defines you, because now you are becoming part of God's agenda, and there's a role you play there. But unfortunately, like I tell you, most people have not come there. They don't know the ordinances of God. But if you must be a complete woman, you must become a wife. Hope you know that you don't become a wife because you are married. You become a wife to be found. That means a wife is not a married woman. A wife is a woman who is under God's ordinance, and God can entrust her with his agenda. It's on that note that God allows her to be married. It's he who finds a wife. You don't find girls. You don't find ladies. You find wives. And then when you mature from there, you become a mother. The power of a girl is her looks. The power of a lady is her mind. The power of a wife is her submission to the ordinances of God. And the power of a mother is sacrifice. You must grow through all of these phases. And we are going to take time to deal with all of these things in context. However, the series we are looking at will touch some women that grew through these ranks. And one of it is Sarah. Sarah mirrored what it means to be mother. So the Bible called her a mother in Israel. So you must understand how Sarah lived her life to be able to come to that stage where she was able to give birth to the promise, to give birth to the purpose of God. She was the one who nurtured Isaac to carry the heritage of God. The second woman you need to be and understand is Ruth. Ruth. Most of you know about Ruth that followed Naomi, the daughter-in-law of Abimelech. Ruth's life revealed to us who a wife is. And every woman must master what it means. If you study Ruth's life, the major indicator of her life is loyalty. The indicator in Sarah's life is sacrifice, but the indicator in Ruth's life is loyalty. She was so loyal that even when their husbands died and Naomi told them, go to your parents, she said, where you go, I will go. Your land is my land. What you eat is what I will eat. Now, according to scripture, when your husband dies, you are free. And most young women who have lost their husbands, they have the liberty to remarry. And in my own counsel, they should. Because there are lots of challenges in life that you need covering from. Right? But our life reveals to you the dexterity, the quality of loyalty that a woman should have. If there's one thing that you should have is trust. They should be able to trust you. That's what it means to be a woman. And that's what the life of Ruth revealed. Loyalty is trustworthiness. The ability to be dependable. That you can be relied on. And so God sees all of those markers in his daughters. On one side, there must be sacrifice. That is the life of Sarah. On another side, there should be trustworthiness and loyalty. That's the life of Ruth. And then you have another woman called Deborah. She's the warrior woman. That's the woman that has the power to challenge the forces of life. It's a dogged woman. It's a warrior woman. At one point, you are submissive. At another point, you are a warrior. Because if you are not a warrior, the hawk will steal your children. You know, when the hawk comes for the children, the mother hen fights. There is no basis for which the mother hen should fight an eagle or to fight a hawk. But if the warrior in her, it does not come alive, she cannot defend her heritage. Meanwhile, you are the builder of the home. Meanwhile, you are the helper of your husband. So if you don't know how to fight, another woman can destroy your home. If you don't know how to fight, the destiny of your children will be lost. If you don't know how to fight, everything God promised to that home that He has planted you will be lost. And so most times, the reason the heritage of God does not come to pass is because there are women who are not warriors. Imagine, as mighty as Moses was, it was the mother that groomed her. As mighty as Samson was, it was the mother that groomed her. As mighty as John the Baptist was, it was the mother that groomed her. Even Jesus had to remain under the tutelage of Mary. From the time Jesus was born to the time He did His first miracle, you will not hear the name of Joseph. Jesus was learning under Joseph. He was a carpenter. But most of the sensitive things about His ordination, it was the woman that saw it. And that's how it has been. When Samson was to be conceived, she was the one the angel appeared to. When Mary was to conceive Jesus, she was the one the angel appeared to. Even when Jesus was to do His first miracle, she said, whatever He tells you to do it. That means she knows that I have nurtured this thing on His life. It is time for it to manifest. She guarded it with jealousy. Some women don't know how to guard even their homes. Some women don't know how to guard the heritage on their children's lives. So when you find wayward children in society today, it's because they were wise but they were not warriors. They cook food for their husband, they satisfy their husbands, but the children become wayward. What God promised, even the family, never come to pass. Because being a warrior in this context is an intercessor. It's not to fight, it's not to quarrel. You must master how to channel your emotion to the altar. Your womb is not only physical, it's also spiritual. And so instead of using your energy for argument, for talking, for gossip, you should have a place on the altar. That's where you fight. Every woman must be a traveler. If you don't travel, your husband will not fulfill purpose. If you don't travel, your children will not fulfill purpose. That is why if you are not a warrior, you are not a Bible woman. The Bible said, and Deborah rose at a time when Israel was in captivity. It was so bad that people could not use the highway. Are you crazy? You'll be killed. People were traveling in bush paths. Nobody dared stood, but the woman rose up and she gathered Israel together. And on the strength of her priesthood, the heritage of God was delivered to Israel. So as a warrior woman, you must have a place on the altar and insist that everything God said about your children, your husband, and your family must come to pass. And then over and above that, you must also instill that in your own generation you have a stake. I don't believe in the talk that women should be housewives, adding no value to society. That's not true. The Bible begs to differ. Deborah was a national figure, and she was the wife of Lapidot. So a woman can be married and still be relevant in society. But for you to do that, you must be a warrior, because society will frown at you. If you say you want to be senator, they will say, what do you mean? An ordinary woman like you? If you say you want to be president, they will look at you and say, president where? Who do you think you are? It will take the warrior in you to refuse that I cannot be intimidated. Because that I submit to my husband does not mean I don't have a part in society. They are two different things. They are two different assignments. And so you must become a warrior to defend the heritage of God given to your family and also to play your part in your generation. That is the life of Deborah. And there are many women in church today who have not been awoken to that reality. Then you have the life of Esther. That's the royal woman. Every woman must be a queen. When you find some women, you know that they don't even have value for themselves. Even the inner wear they use, they can't wash it. You come to the house, there is cup on the chair. You see the children, the pap the boy drank in the morning is still on his mouth. You enter a bedroom, it has not been kept for 2 weeks. There's no excellence. There's no ecstasy. There's no royalty. Listen, one of the war that defends you is your looks. There's a level of gravity a woman carries that if you see her, you can't touch her. But when you find women in a generation, there is laxity. They are either naked or you can't find dignity with them. The woman sits down carelessly, she talks carelessly, she's not kept. She comes around you, you have all kinds of smell, and you are wondering, who is this? Somebody is fighting somewhere, you are there. That shouldn't be you. See, there should be nobility. Know that there's a level of courtesy and decorum that your life should command. That's who a woman is. A woman is a delicate creation. Delicate. It's an honor for you to access the attention of a woman. It's an honor for you to access the body of a woman. That's why you see that people go crazy to touch women. There's something about you that is sacred, that is royal, that is excellent. Many kings have been destroyed because they wanted to touch some women. That's how sacred the woman is. Listen, don't trivialize yourself. Be deliberate about how you appear. Be deliberate about what you say. Be deliberate about where you are seen. Don't be seen everywhere. Be about purpose. Be about your calling. Be about destiny. Let your life be invested in something important. A woman is so special that even if she's not doing anything, her body alone is value. Just your body is value. A woman may not go to school, but she can buy anything she wants with her body. And that's why those who are prostitutes defy their body, because they know that there's value in just their body. Only a woman is the only creation on earth that may not have anything to offer, but her body is great value. It speaks of royalty. And so when you discover it, you will treat yourself with dignity. You will treat yourself with courtesy. You will treat yourself with excellence. Don't be careless. You were born and created to operate the life of nobility. The glory of a king is, number one, the multitude that attend to him, and number two is his queen. That's why if you study the life of Esther, after the king conquered battles and was celebrating, and all his great men sat down, he said, go and call the queen Vashti. Let her just come. Let my mighty men see her. As far as the king was concerned, it was an honor for his mighty men to see her. All she wanted her to do, just come and parade yourself. Let them see you. Because it was like his greatest trophy, so he hid it. And the woman did not know that she was royal. The Bible woman is a royal woman. Number 5, you see the life of Dorcas. It speaks of generosity. You must have a large heart. You know the problem of many women? They're myopic. Their heart is tiny. You must discipline and train yourself to enlarge your heart. Those days when we were growing, when it is 1 o'clock, you see all our friends begin to come from everywhere, because they know my mother will cook, they will eat. People who didn't have food, they will come around, and my mother will give them food. And if they misbehave, she will warn and caution them as if they are children. Today, some of those people are doing well in life. They still reckon to her as a mother to them. That's how the heart of a woman is. If your heart is not large, it will narrow the vision of your husband. And even the vision God has given you will be narrowed. Listen, learn the way of generosity. Every child around you is your child. Open your heart to address them, to help them, to lead them, to empower them. When Dorcas died and Peter was summoned, there was one testimony. Look at this garment, she gave it to us. Look at that garment, she gave it to us. The problem with most women is that they are too myopic, they are too stingy, and so because they are narrow-minded, God can't commit kingdom to them. There are many great assignments they can't do. See, men have marginalized women in this world. That's why you see that many women are not doing great things. But apart from that also, many women are not doing great things because their heart is too small for great things. Selfishness, self-centeredness. You cannot find 2 girls living in one room for 3 months. There must be quarrel, there must be argument, there must be something. But you can find 7 men in one tiny apartment for 10 years, depending on themselves and coexisting. Put 2 sisters in one room. After 2 weeks, there's already a fight. There's already gossip. There's already malice. There's already backbiting. The heart is too small. How can God commit a generation to such people? And so if you want to be part of those that God can entrust a generation to, you must learn to enlarge your heart. That's the life of Dorcas, and it is the life of the Bible woman. Are you following? Sarah is a mother, and her life is sacrifice. Ruth is a wife. Her life is loyalty. Deborah is a what? A warrior. Her life is intercession. I wish I had time to show you some scriptures here. Go and read about Abigail, Nabal's wife. When the husband misbehaved, the woman gathered resources. David was coming to destroy the whole lineage. She ran and met David ahead and entreated for her husband. David said, if not for your sake, He said, by this time tomorrow, that man would not even have had one child. I would have killed everybody. And eventually, when the foolish man died, David helped himself. And she eventually gave birth to princes. That level of, see, when there is something in her. Do you know the name of Nabal? It means foolish, a churlish man. She made the mistake of marrying a foolish man, but there were princes in her. And it took her wisdom in intercession to achieve that destiny.